Hey!
You ready for this episode?
Yep.
We gotta clear our throats. It's early in the morning. Aha!
Okay, Elvis.
Alright, everybody, this episode we're going to be discussing modern westerns.
Modern westerns. There's a plethora of westerns out there, so I think we're going to revisit this. Maybe not next episode or anything, but we're going to revisit the genre, definitely, of westerns.
There's so many different little nooks and crannies of the western. You could do like an episode with like 3 every week.
Yeah.
Just like, horror westerns, spaghetti westerns,
Right.
Noir westerns. Actually, I don't think there's any noir westerns. I made that up.
Yeah.
So this one, it's not modern-made westerns, like Silverado and...
Open range.
Yeah, open range, stuff like that. Stuff made in the last, 20, 30 years. Not modern age, but westerns set in the modern day. Because I said something to somebody else about this, and they got very confused.
Yeah. Well, we're not talking about this one, but there is one, it's Last Man Standing. That was not quite modern age, but it was set in the 40s.
But it was the same thing. Another Bruce Willis movie is Sunset, where it's in the 20s, and it's kind of like a western.
Yeah, it's a western, but it's not a western, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
What's the first one we got?
Well, the first one we're starting off is the one I watched last night, Straight to Hell.
Boy, the pipes are...
Hey, Norwood. How's it going?
From glen to glen.
Town.
Down.
You only have one bus.
Gotta kill him now! We're gonna kill him later! Baby! Save my baby!
You watched the Redux, because that's
right.
the
I've
one
never
I
seen the
sent
original.
you. That's the only version that you don't want to watch the original.
Why? What's the difference?
It's truncated. It has less charm,
Yeah.
if you can imagine, and it doesn't have any of the odd, interesting things like they throw in the stop motion.
Yeah, that was
stuff.
actually quite interesting. I just didn't. I didn't know that there was gonna be stop motion animation, and it threw me off. I was like, "What?" And I didn't know if that was part of the original or not.
No, it's not. It didn't have that stuff in it, and it didn't have... If you watch the movie, you won't notice much character development. But there is character development in the Redux more than the other one. The Redux is much more enjoyable. I've seen the first one once, and I didn't like it, the original. This new Redux I watched, and I kind of enjoyed it, but then this last time, I've seen it 3 times now. I really quite enjoyed it. It wasn't nearly as annoying.
I think it's going to be a movie that is going to grow on me. I found myself a little bored in the middle.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just kind of spinning its wheels and nothing interesting. I will say this, besides the stop motion animation, the parts that I really enjoy are the music scenes. There's 2 parts of the movie where it basically stops and they have like this big sing-along thing, and I thought that was like, wow, that's interesting. I want to pay attention to this.
Well,
but it helps that the movie is almost everybody cast in it is a musician,
right?
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Cy Richardson and Xander Berkeley, I think, are the only actual well, there's Dennis Hopper in a cameo, but I mean, for the most part, it's just musicians.
Yeah, the whole thing started as a tour for Nicaragua, I think, for the Sandinistas, in support of them, because Alex Cox and Joe Strummer were really into the whole South American unrest thing and helping those people down there. But then they found that they couldn't actually do the tour because of the unrest. So they decided to make this movie instead and shot it where all those spaghetti westerns are shot.
Yeah, and it's cool that they did it for a real small budget. I imagine the Redux has a lot more enhanced effects and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's got that's where all the blood splatter came from, because they didn't have any cussing in the movie, and they still got a rated R. And they're like, well, we did everything that we could to try to not make it a rated R, but they made it a rated R.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood. Wow, crazy amount.
They went ahead in this one and just threw in all the blood. What the deal is with the Redux thing is, it's called Straight to Hell Returns. What the deal is he was making his sequel to Repo Man, Repo Girl, and the people who worked on that, because they use a lot of miniatures and some stop motion and stuff like this is where he gets the stop motion from. That crew was like, yeah, we'll work on it with you. And so they started adding the special effects back in and putting scenes back into the film and then adding little flourishes like the stop motion.
Have you seen Repo Girl? I'm afraid to watch it. I love Repo Man so much that I feel like it's just going to ruin it for me.
No, it doesn't. It's not related, but it's it's pretty good for what it is, and it's weird. So
The plot for Straight to Hell is a little confusing. At the same time, it's insanely simple, so that's why I feel like an idiot. Basically, you have your 3 criminals coming into this little nothing town, and isn't it a remake of a spaghetti western?
it's a remake
It kind
of a
feels
Django
little
movie called Django Kill. If you live, shoot. 1967.
bit- I've actually seen that one, yeah.
It's not got Django in it, but I mean it's called Django Kill. It's
Yeah, there's 1,000 movies where Django in it.
yeah, it's a remake of that, but it's also a parody of spaghetti westerns.
Almost everybody in this movie is just terrible. Just awful pieces of crap.
Yeah, almost. I mean, even the shop owner, which I think the shop owner and his wife, I think that stuff was cut down severely in the original.
Oh, okay. And then Courtney Love, almost unrecognizable. It's like it's her, but you know how, okay, so you've seen The Mask, obviously. Jim Carrey, The Mask.
Yeah.
You know when the villain, he gets changed?
Mhm.
And it's basically just like this extra layer on his face. It looks
Oh, right.
like him, but it's not
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
That's what Courtney Love looks like.
She's got carb face, is what it is. She was playing the character by way of Nancy Spungen. Sid and Nancy was also directed by Alex Cox, and
Right.
she had a cameo bit, or a bit part, not cameo, but a bit part in Sid and Nancy. But she based her performance on, I forget her name, the actress who was also in Twins, who played Nancy
Oh,
Spungen.
Chloe Webb? No.
Yeah, the very annoying, obnoxious portrayal of Nancy. She's running around pregnant with that. So isn't it Size Kid?
I can't remember. The movie's
I
very
think
weird.
it's-
There's so many characters.
It's Cy Richardson.
It's insane. Every time I feel like
Yeah.
I'm starting to get to know a character, they dump another one on me for another 5 minutes, and I'm just like, wait, what? Or someone will show up for like a minute.
Then they'll kill a handful of characters, and then in come more.
Yeah, and Jim
Yeah.
Jarmusch
Oh,
shows
he's-
up for a minute.
Right,
and
he's the
like,
big-
hey, it's
he's
Jim-
the big
oh, and
boss.
he's-
Yeah. Well, okay, we haven't really cracked this story, and we're
Um,
not going to. This is just a bonkers, weird Western.
Yeah, it's a
That
strange movie.
if you're gonna watch it, and I suggest you do at least once, at least if you're into sort of alternative cinema, not even indie, whatever. Screw that term, indie. Alternative here.
Yeah, this is more midnight.
Yeah, this is an alternative cinema sort of thing. Go for it, but try to get Straight to Hell Returns. The other thing about Straight to Hell that kind of bothers me is that the song Straight to Hell isn't in it. It's one of the best Clash songs ever.
That's kind of strange. I wonder why.
I don't know
Maybe
either.
they could get the
And
rights.
Joe Strummer's in it, so I was.
Yeah, I know.
Meh.
Seems like an obvious. All right, our second movie. We got Way of the Gun.
Yes.
For the record, I'll call myself Mr. Parker. My associate will be Mr. Longbow. At some point, it became clear to us that our path had been chosen, and we had nothing to offer the world, so we stepped off the path.
And went looking for the fortune that we knew was looking for us.
And here was the thing. The longest distance between 2 points is a kidnapper and his money. But we were through jerking around.
What I heard was you ready to put a woman's life at risk for money. Not money. $15 million.
$15 million.
$15 million. You are here because you were for sale, and you will do as you are told.
You just bring me back my baby.
You're not gonna make it out of here alive.
What kind of kidnapping is this?
I got all night long. I'm not moving. Test me.
Can't you people see there are guns here? Way of the gun.
Which I wanted to choose for a road movie a few months ago, and we kind of put it off.
But they just drive in the car at a few moments in the movie, and it's not exactly a road.
Okay.
It is a
But
Western.
an excellent modern day Western.
Boy, is it. It's like a Peckinpah movie, but I'm bored with Peckinpah when I watch it.
A lot of his slow-mo drives me up.
Way of the Gun, though, Macquarie had just done Usual Suspects. He's a writer.
Right. Who is going to be
And
doing
he
the
was-
next Mission Impossible.
Oh, that's neat. Well, he was trying to get some other stuff off the ground in Hollywood, and nobody ever wanted to touch it. And so he had a meeting with Benicio, and Benicio's just like, well, whatever you want. How about... I can't do a good impression of Benicio del Toro. I just love how he mumbles. So he encouraged him to write another crime film. So Macquarie's approach was, let's follow some irredeemable characters and try to get the audience on their side. And boy, does it work.
Yeah, and this one, I mean, it's a crime movie, but it's an action-packed crime movie. I mean, there's really not a wasted moment either. You got an amazing dialogue going on, or you have one of the best action sequences. Every action sequence is really, really well thought out. It's as if he had talked to a SWAT specialist. There is a movie,
Oh, no, that's his brother. His brother is an ex-Navy SEAL.
Okay.
So his brother was on set telling them, the two dudes in particular, the combat tactical styling that they did with their And they were also they did trigger theory. You don't hold the trigger until you're ready to shoot.
Right. There is a movie with Robert Patrick and Michael Rooker that it must have been designed by the same guy because it almost has the same exact setup. Rogue Force. The movie's not very good, but the action sequences are brilliant. And I get the same feeling when I watch In Way of the Gun, is that someone really, really thought them out. And there's not a single wasted bullet. There's not every single thing. It's like a chess game. You know, watching them move from.
Oh wait, there is a moment in the film, and it's at the end when there's this big shootout. There's a moment in the film where they don't reload at all. But before that, every single bullet is accounted for. But when that scene comes, it's an homage to general action movies that never reload.
Right. The plot of the movie basically is they're hired to kidnap Juliette Lewis, who is pregnant, and basically demand money because she's actually a surrogate for this rich couple.
Yeah.
That this lady's just too lazy to have a baby. Lady basically seems too lazy to do anything. So they get Juliette Lewis to be the surrogate. She gets kidnapped and taken to Mexico.
Yeah.
They hired Nicky Katt. No. Nicky Katt's already part of the team, right? Nicky Katt and...
They're the fixer guys.
Yeah.
Taye Diggs and Nicky Katt.
This is the movie where I really started... I never heard of... I knew of Taye Diggs from How Stella Got Her Groove Back, but I had never seen it.
Yeah.
I'm probably never going to see it, honestly. It's just not my wheelhouse. So I knew who he was, but I'd never seen him act. So I was really interested in him. But it was Nicky Katt. After seeing this, I was like, holy crap, who is this guy? And then immediately after Way of the Gun came out, he was in Boston Public. I became a huge fan of that until they took him off. And screw it. I didn't want to watch it anymore.
TV, what's that?
Way of the Gun. I love that the choices made by the actors are just kill me because Ryan Felipe decided to act the entire movie as if he had burnt the roof of his mouth.
Are you?
Yeah,
are you sure?
I was listening to the commentary track when it came out, and they go, "That was his actor's choice. Is that he wanted to combine Dustin Hoffman with someone who had burnt the roof of their mouth." So I tell you this the whole time.
That's funny because he comes off kind of like Brando.
Yeah,
well, here's something else that's pretty funny. He has a scene at the very beginning of the movie, which is it's a triumphant scene for anybody who's ever had to deal with a loudmouth woman who antagonizes and instigates. But it's also taboo because he punches her in the face, and the woman is Sarah Silverman, and she just unloads with a torrent of filth and horrible.
But I love the guy that's with them because the guy comes up all confident.
Yeah, well, he's also kind of like to her, you're getting ahead of yourself. Anyway, she does get ahead of herself, and Ryan Phillippe punches her in the face and actually knocked her out.
What, in real life?
Yes.
Wow.
He hit her too hard. He didn't pull, and he knocked her out. It was an accident. He spent the rest of the time on set with her apologizing.
Wow, that sucks. Glad I didn't break or anything. Knock a tooth out or break her nose.
She had to get makeup done, but she was out cold. Wow. And she woke up seeing him over her crying. What a story.
And then Jeffrey Lewis and James Caan come in the middle as basically like guns for hire to get Juliette Lewis back.
Yeah, veteran guns.
I think it's James Caan's most confident role in decades. I mean, not since probably Thief has he been so confident.
Yeah.
I just really loved his character. My favorite line of his is, the only thing you can assume about an old man is that he's a survivor. And I was like, hell yeah, this is great dialogue.
Yeah, this whole movie's full of great dialogue. When it came out, the critics hated it.
They did. They hated it, and it didn't do very well, but luckily he shot it real cheap. He shot it for like $5 million, so made its money back.
And it's got style all over it. But it's a hard R in that it's incredibly violent and possibly misogynistic.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, well, I like the movie, but I can't stand by it does exactly what it intends to do. You're going to be with these guys that aren't redeemable, but you're going to somehow like them.
Yeah, down and dirty, but who's the worst? I mean, but I always wondered, are they dead? Do you think they're dead?
They don't have to be. They could have crawled off.
I mean, they're messed up.
Really shot up. But you know what? There are so many real stories, war stories of a guy with like 9 bullets in him, and he still walks on, takes out a platoon. It's true.
Lone Survivor shows those guys basically riddled with bullets, and they still fought. And that's a true story.
Yeah. So
third movie,
Desperado.
I was sitting in a bar, and in he walked. You saw his face? His face. No. I mean, every step he took towards the light, just when you thought his face was about to be revealed, it wasn't. It was as if the lights dimmed just for him.
They call him a loner.
I know who you are. What? You kill drug dealers.
They called him a miss.
You've heard stories of that man that carries a guitar case full of weapons. Find him and kill him.
I hope you don't think you can take someone like Ucho all by yourself.
They made the mistake of calling his bluff.
Is there something in the guitar case? Guitar?
Now, it's time to face the music.
Let's play.
It's cool, I said. Cool.
Desperado, the new film from Robert Rodriguez.
I was a teenager when El Mariachi came out, and I was watching Cinemax, and I just barely started it. My dad came in and he's like, "What's this?" And I was like, "This is a new movie that came out, and it was made for $5,000 with," I already knew all the info, with 2 VCRs to edit the thing on expired film stock, and he had to dub everything himself. So I watched that, and I was super, super impressed with that movie.
Yeah, I saw it after Desperado, and I got bored.
Oh, darn. There's some there's just some brilliant shots, like the guy's running down the boardwalk and he slides with his boots, and it's just perfect on the heels of his boots. But Desperado came out, and that was given a much larger budget. It gets sillier. Bad gun technique, but looks really neat on film. But the best...
Oh, throwing the bullets?
Yeah.
Throwing the bullets is always my...
The best stuff, I think, in the film is Steve Buscemi and Tarantino cameo. Those are probably the most fun parts.
Yeah, when I saw this on Labor Day, 95, I had just come back from college, and we went to a double feature, Desperado and Mortal Kombat. And both have not aged as well as I had thought. I have to take Desperado with the thought that it's basically Looney Tunes. It is a cartoon, live action, violent thing. Mortal Kombat sucks. I can't even back that up for anything. Desperado, though, I loved it. I watched it over and over and over.
So you're putting Desperado in the same, but probably not as extreme as Shoot 'em Up.
I hate Shoot 'em Up with an unwavering passion because it's so desperate to get your affection. I don't know why.
That's a Looney Tunes. Guns with Looney Tunes. That's
I like
the
the
whole point
action.
of that movie.
I like the action part, but I think the movie in general is just cynical. Let's just grab your cash. Aren't we so cool? Kind of thing. Desperado has a whole different attitude. Yes, there was a period where I watched it over and over and over, and then I revisited it when I was in my late 20s. I was like, oh, this is kind of stupid. This isn't anywhere nearly as cool as I thought it was. And then I saw it a couple years ago, and then I thought, well, hold on. If I view it as completely out of reality, as if this was an animation adaptation, you know, like it had the same attitude, style, whatever, I can tolerate Desperado more than I can Shoot 'em Up by a long shot, but I'm not gonna be able to see Desperado like a lot through the rest of my life. I'll probably watch it one more time, I'll be good.
I think maybe what happened is you watched it too much, and now you just deconstructed
Well, it's also the age that you
so
see it
that-
at. When you're 18, you just want to see action. You're not so much into the whole plot. And especially, I was a John Woo fanatic. I had seen The Killer, then Hard Boiled, and Hard Target, and I became obsessed with the double gun. Anything with... If I saw a trailer, no matter how bad it was, if I saw a guy sliding around with 2 guns in hands, I was like, yeah, I'm there. I'm totally there. I have to see this. I saw a lot of bad direct-to-video movies, man.
From the 90s. Yes, well, this is 95 or 6. Anyway, Desperado is essentially a remake of El Mariachi, but it's not quite a remake. It has callbacks to literal characters that were in El Mariachi, but this time El Mariachi is played by Antonio Banderas instead of the original guy, and Salma Hayek's in it. This is one of her first flashes in American cinema.
Speaking of flash,
yeah, she's a very pretty lady. And she's still cool. She did a movie called Everly just recently, which might go on Christmas list later.
Yeah, is it good?
But
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's a Christmas time movie, so I think it's going to be one of mine.
I like her. Have you ever seen Banditas?
Yeah, that's a Western flick too, with Penelope Cruz. Penelope Cruz. Anyway, we can talk forever about these lovely Spanish ladies.
And this is the first time I ever saw Danny Trejo, or at least it's the first time he registered. I know he did a ton of action movies before that, but I think it was kind of before my time.
Yeah, he was on Runaway Train.
Runaway Train,
with John
Death
Voight
Wish
and
4.
Eric Roberts, and he trained them how to box in that movie because he was in prison, and in prison he boxed and got out, and he went legit and became a movie guy. And this is the movie where he plays the precursor to Machete.
Oh, he's supposed to be Machete in Spy Kids. I had no idea it was the same character.
Yeah, he's Machete in Spy Kids, but this is like the prototype.
Yeah, I was just surprised.
Machete. He's got a bunch of knives and all that stuff. But this movie, if you like Tarantino, it has elements moments that are very Tarantino, especially dialogue with Steve Buscemi and Tarantino himself. But it's a Robert Rodriguez film, so it's not going to be as thick with that. And it is lighter. He likes to do drive-in movies, basically. Right. And I dig it. I just watched it recently. I haven't watched it in years. So when you do this, you watch something when you're younger much more often.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of the options.
Yeah, now it's out of control.
You have so many options now that you have to really set time aside to watch something old that you used to watch a lot.
Which is what we end up doing for the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's actually beneficial for the show because I don't often get to revisit odd things. Anyway, I like it. Desperado's good. It's better than Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which is the third in
which
the
I
saga.
have not seen since it came out.
That one's just way too long in the tooth, convoluted, and kind of boring.
All right, number 4, Frontera. No, it's not Frontera.
We're going to mention Frontera. That's not on this list, but it's a pretty good one. It's on Netflix.
It is good. I wasn't sure if it counted as a Western or a detective.
It's a little bit of both. The very end cap wasn't as satisfactory, but that could have gone on for another 15 minutes and fully fleshed out the Western aspect of it.
Right.
But Frontera, check it out. It's got Michael Pena in it, who is in the new Ant-Man movie. So we're talking about A Night in Old Mexico.
This isn't the Bovey Ranch, is it?
Well, it was. Now it's Rancho Vista Estates.
What do you want? I'm your grandson.
How'd you lose your ranch?
Damn conspiracy.
Y'all going down south to Mexico? I'd gladly buy the gas.
I seen you got some beer right there, too. Yeah, I don't remember saying that beer was community property.
Say, oh man, pull over. I gotta take a leak.
Good idea. They left a few bucks in the car. Ain't nothing to dwell on. 50,000. I think somebody's looking for us.
Drop the money.
Over my dead body. You're just gonna have to find somebody else to pick on, see? I'm old. I'm broken. I'm alone. And I'm more scared of dying with somebody spoon-feeding me oatmeal than anything else in the world. I'm gonna get your money back. Forget about the money. You're all I got left in the world now. Here's the deal, mister. I'll come for my money.
An old man like you should die in bed.
Now, this cowboy.
All right, so this one is Robert Duvall. How old is Robert Duvall? I feel like he's 9,000. He's been doing movies forever.
He's always had no hair.
Was he born old? I've never seen him young.
He was, as Boo Radley was probably his youngest, and he was still kind of no-haired then. Yeah, he's old. He's an old codger. And all he does is make westerns now. That's his thing.
Basically, that's what he loves. So this one is he's lost everything. He's reaching the end of his life, and he's ready to put a bullet in his head when his grandson shows up.
Yeah.
And tells him he's there to visit, and they go to Mexico for a night on the town, and it turns into something much, much bigger. This is almost more of a... You know what? I said there's no noir westerns. This is almost a noir.
How is it a noir?
Just in the color and the tone, it's not really a western. It's a drug smuggling kind of thing going on, and there's really dark characters.
Okay. In the Night of the Hunter sort of way, a noir, yes.
So basically, they pick up a couple of guys on the way to Mexico, and they leave... God, I watched it a couple months ago. I haven't watched it since. They have drugs in the car, right?
I watched it last night.
Okay.
The two dudes do a drug drop. They leave the drugs because who cares about the drugs? All they wanted was the money. But they kill the guy in the car and take his money. Then they go on the land. Then they're hitching and they spot the old man and his grandson at a gas station and ask for a ride. And there's a cooler full of beer. One of the dudes keeps on taking beer as they got the ride from them. But they left the satchel in the car because they had to go pee. And Duvall takes off. He's like, I didn't give them permission to drink my beer. They're none the wiser about the money in there. The two guys are like, we're going to go to Mexico, follow them to get the money back. In the meantime, there's the partner of the guy who got murdered in the car that they stole the money from. So he goes to Mexico. He calls a guy before he gets there, a hitman. These two guys are the noir angles. So you have the guy in the shadows watching everybody, finding his moment to pounce on the two guys and get the money back. The whole adventure part of the story is noir. The rest of it is family drama.
Yeah. Robert Duvall is one stubborn man. It drives you nuts. The things that he does are just so insane, but then all of a sudden the kid kind of flips. And it kind of goes hand in hand, when the son is like the father, and the grandson is like that father. So I mean, if he's going to be stubborn, so will his grandson. There's a good chance of that. And they both go to these limits where you're like, are you kidding me? Why are you still doing this? And they're just desperate to get this money back. And they have a girl along the way, and I forgot how she even becomes part of it.
Yeah, Angie Cepeda is the singer / boy/stripper named Patty Wafers. And the boy, he's like 20-something, okay? He's not quite a boy, but he's not quite a man. And he's immediately got a crush on her, and so he notices her name on the cutout standee that they put in the place. He recognizes her when they bump into her eventually, when they're eating. She walks in, and she's got a mouth on her. The whole movie was pretty much PG-13 until she came along.
Yeah.
And then she's dropping F-bombs left and right. And it's kind of funny. She's a pretty lady, and she sings in the strip club, and then all the jerk dudes just want to see her boobs. And so she doesn't even do a dance, she just drops her top. And they don't even show it. They're nice enough to not exploit that. They show her from behind, and she's just standing there like, you happy now?
Now, the Western element is interesting, but it's more of an actor's. Like you said, it's a family drama, it's more of an actor's piece. The kid, the one from Warhorse, he is excellent. I think he's really growing into be a good actor, but man, it's Robert Duvall. Every time he comes on to screen for anything, he just kills it. He is one of our most amazing actors, and he gets credit, but he's not like an A-lister. He never was. And it's kind of a bummer.
I think he's one of those secret A-listers because he's always in big projects or reputable projects. You know what I mean?
He's like the Gene Hackman kind of guy, you know? He's not good looking, but Gene Hackman got more, I think, headlining roles after Hoosiers than Robert Duvall ever did.
It's a really interesting story. At the end of it, instead of going back to Texas, he stays in Mexico with Patty Wafers, and the kid, he goes back to America with this, like, a lifelong adventure in this short amount of time. I don't have adventures like that. You don't have adventures like that, but this kid did. His hat got shot. He's got a bullet hole in his hat.
I have these adventures.
You get your hat shot. Fifth movie is Extreme Prejudice.
Somewhere in America, a secret war is being waged. A war of deception.
It's a daylight hit.
Fought by a phantom army.
Sergeant Buck Atwater killed Laos in 74. How can they be officially dead and two of them locked up in there? It's classified.
Now, he's the only one that stands in their way.
I got a feeling the next time we run into each other, we're going to have a killing.
Termination with extreme prejudice. Anyone could be the enemy.
Want to tell me about it?
I can't talk about it. I gotta do something about it.
Nothing is what it seems.
What the hell's the military robbing banks in Texas for?
And unless he can stop them,
It's poison.
everything he stands for is at stake.
Very unusual.
What is?
Ordering the termination of an American civilian peace officer, clearly loyal to the country and in the process of bringing a known criminal to justice.
What we're going to do is we're told. Right, Sergeant?
The only thing that ever scared the hell out of me, Cash, was myself. We are space age high tech, and we get caught by some Stone Age cowboy.
Nick Nolte, Extreme Prejudice.
And I just watched this. It's the Walter
never seen
Hill
it before?
movie I mentioned. No, I'd never seen it before. I didn't know what to expect. I am going to be honest now.
Yeah?
I'm not the biggest fan of Walter Hill movies.
Oh, man, I think he's my favorite director. I think John Carpenter for a long time, but now it's Walter Hill. I can watch almost anything he does over and over, except for Bullet in the Head. I don't think I'll ever be able to see that again. Of course, I think he's been dropping as the years go on, like, Undisputed wasn't that great. But if you look at the beginning, you have The Warriors, Hard Times, The Warriors. Well, you're shaking your head. Do you not like The Warriors?
No, I hate The Warriors.
What the huh? All right, we have to end this
It's
now.
got a lot of
I gotta
iconic things to it, which I appreciate. Can you dig it? Warriors, come out and play. I get it. It's a product of its time. It's not part of the 70s that I appreciate. I don't like how it looks. I don't really care for the story too much. I don't care.
It's the Odyssey. It's basically the Odyssey. It's amazing.
Yeah. So, it doesn't have any Harryhausen skeletons.
If it had, it'd been the most amazing movie ever. They're fighting skeletons and dragons in the middle of New York. Yeah. You're like, what the? I mean, I guess it's a comic book movie, but you got to take it up a notch.
Yeah, well, I also saw it a long time ago, but then I saw the director's cut, which is terrible.
What? Lies! Lies!
He tries to do this. No,
like
he tries to do this. Oh, I saw Sin City. We can make things like a comic book and put the comic book frames in here, and then let's use Comic Sans.
He wanted to do that.
Nobody uses Comic Sans.
He wanted to do that back in the 70s.
Designer.
He wanted to do it back in the 70s, and
that's
they
wouldn't
clear it. So
they wouldn't clear it, but they used Comic Sans, and there's a plethora of free fonts and pay fonts, and they had money enough, and they just went with Comic Sans, which is the worst. Sorry.
All right, what about Southern Comfort?
Rant over.
You gotta love Southern Comfort. That is his best movie.
No, I do.
Okay,
I
good,
do.
good.
I really like
I'm
Southern
scared.
Comfort. That's my favorite movie of his. That's a really good movie, Southern Comfort. But this movie's somewhere in between Southern Comfort and this stuff I don't like.
This is right where his career started to fall apart. He had a lot of success.
Is it?
Crossroads didn't do that well, which is an excellent movie. Extreme Prejudice bombed. Johnny Handsome bombed, and then he broke down and ended up doing 48 Hours too. I really, really enjoy Extreme Prejudice. I think it's the manliest movie ever made, next to Stone Cold. Have you ever seen Stone Cold? That movie is dripping with Budweiser and sweat and burnt tires.
Oh, no.
You've never seen Stone Cold? Oh my god.
I'm telling you, when I was a kid, my brother
macho.
kind of set the precedent. He wasn't always nice to me, so I associated stuff that he liked with things that weren't nice to me, you know? So he liked heavy metal and Stone Cold and the biker things, and I was just like, I'm not having it. Give me my Depeche Mode. Give me my They Might Be Giants and Mystery Science Theater at the time, which I can't stand now, but I'm not 14 anymore.
What?
I'm not 14 anymore. It's great for when you're 14.
This is breaking.
Manos Hands of Fate is still
it's
a great
for
episode.
Any age. You hurt me here, man. You hurt me. Alright, Extreme Prejudice. Powers Booth. Highly underrated.
He's
I love Powers
really
Booth.
great in this.
Powers Booth, Nick Nolte used to be friends. It's gotten to the point where they've gone in different directions, which is kind of a cliche, but Nick Nolte is now a sheriff in Texas. Across the border, Powers Booth is
He's a ranger. He's not a sheriff. Ranger.
Oh, he's a ranger.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the way, Nick Nolte's character gets involved with this secret underground, like, FBI group.
Well, no, CIA. It starts off with a bunch of sort of like people, like they show a shot of a guy getting out of a car, and then it shows a photo of him and a dossier sort of thing, and it says he's dead. And then another guy gets out of the car, Clancy Brown, and then it says he's dead. Another guy shows up, and it's just very. I see this is an awkward opening to me. I was confused from the get-go. I'm like, I see the poster, and I see Ranger-hatted Nick Nolte, and I do not understand what this has to do with what I saw from the poster and the trailer a long time. What is this? They are on a mission to do what exactly?
To take down Powers Booth.
They're part of a covert mission.
They're not all clean. Let's just say one of them.
Their deaths are all faked. There's supposed to be some sort of hit squad. And I think this is his best looking role.
Who?
Michael Ironside.
Michael Ironside, yeah.
He looks really trim and fit.
And they
healthy.
never show him running. Have you ever seen Michael Ironside run? It's very painful. Total Recall?
Oh, really?
He does this with his hands when he runs. It's insane.
No, I've never noticed. Maria Conchita Alonso's in this, and this is also the best I've seen her look. She's a pretty lady in this movie in particular. She's the love triangle. She used to be with Powers Booth, and now she's with Nick Nolte. And it's a big pissing contest between Nick Nolte and Powers Booth, basically.
You know what I just discovered?
Ultimately, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, what I just discovered is that I should never sum up a plot for anything ever. I'm going to let you do that, because inside this head is a hamster on a wheel that has been drinking and playing pinball all night.
Pinball!
Have you ever
of
noticed
all things, that's good.
when I try to describe a movie and I'm like, look, shiny objects, I gotta go. What was I talking about again?
So, that's their deal. In the meantime, Michael Ironside and the Kill Squad are trying to figure out a way to make it not look like their government. So, they rob a bank. The bank had a lot of Powers Booth's money in it. So they rob a bank, everything comes to a head. The Kill Squad is mingling with all the Peckinpah-sized army. And it's actually kind of like the last scene is kind of like, kill the Mexicans. None of them have a name, but kill the Mexicans. Because it's so violent. I don't know how this didn't get an X back then.
Oh god, it's so much gore. This is one of those movies where you have, if you love character actors, you are just up to your nose in character actors. You got Michael Ironside, Rip Torn, Clancy Brown, William Forsythe, Larry B. Scott. Okay, here's the one I love. Tiny Zeus Lister.
Yeah.
Now, isn't Tiny his nickname already? Why is it Tiny and Zeus?
Around that time, he was dabbling in the wrestling. So his name was Zeus. Remember No Holds Barred? That came 88, 89.
Oh, how can I forget?
And so that's where he got the Zeus thing from. So I think maybe they were just playing that angle up. Because this was 87.
About that.
It's got this really... There's very various posters for it, but the one that we're going to put on the podcast image thing is really bright and eye-catching and neon and red, a little bit of blue, and it's crazy looking.
All right, what is our last
The last movie is one of the best, most current modern westerns that I've seen, and it's an Australian film called Red Hill.
When a blow-in requests a transfer to my outpost, I count on two things. Either he's lazy, or he's an upstart looking for an easy promotion.
I was shot on duty, sir. The doctor said we should move somewhere quiet, away from the city.
Approximately 9 a.m, Jimmy Conway broke out of the maximum security prison at Western Bay.
Conway was convicted of murdering his wife and the attempted murder of a Red Hill police officer.
We all know what we're dealing with here. Jimmy Conway rides into this town. He'll be bringing hell with him.
Where's the backup?
There isn't any.
What the hell's going on here?
You tell me, son.
Oh, God, I love this movie. This movie's so...
Ryan Quantin stars in it as the rookie sheriff come into town with his wife, and he misplaced his gun, so he has no gun for a lot of the movie because they just moved, and it's packed with the towels. And at the same time, there's a prison break. There's this so-called notorious criminal whose half of his face is really charred and burned, so he's got this big melted scar face. And he's come to town. He's headed that way for revenge. What kind of revenge?
And it plays kind of like a horror movie. I mean, it plays a little bit like a serial killer kind of movie.
Yeah, like a slasher sort of thing, except with guns and like he snipes people and stuff like that, or shoots them with shotguns. They play up his menace really well. To give you some footing for Ryan Quantin's character, he's the rookie, and he's not well liked by the boss, who is played by
Steve Bisley?
Bisley, yes, Goose from Mad Max.
Here's the thing about Patrick Hughes, is I really thought that he was going to change Expendables for the better, and I'll say Expendables 3 is the best of the trilogy, but I really thought he was going to ground it more, and I feel like he was more of a gun for hire. You know, Stallone has a habit...
No, he's absolutely a gun for hire.
Stallone does this. He hires young directors, or guys who are really good with the craftsmanship. They're not so good at the acting part, like George P. Cosmatos. He was one of those guys who was real good at technical stuff, which Stallone didn't want to be bothered with. So Stallone actually directed Rambo 2 and Cobra, and Kurt Russell used him for Tombstone, but you know, the credit went to George. So I feel like the director was chosen because he was young, he needed an opportunity to do something big, to get his name out there. So he was probably just being told what to do by Stallone the whole time. So I was a little disappointed in that. But this is a very distinct vision, and if Expendables had gone more serious, low-key, I think it would have been amazing.
Yes. Well, this also harkens to another modern Western, which is Last Stand with Schwarzenegger, where the bad guy's going to come through town, and they have to stop him. Mm-hmm. But this is how you do it. You don't do it like they did with Last Stand. Last Stand was a dumb movie. There were too many decisions made that were wrong.
Yeah.
Too many scenes that were unnecessarily blue screened. I don't care if it is a pickup shot. Go in somebody's backyard and do it.
No kidding. It looks so bad in the back. And it was campy. The tone was just too jokey. I was like, oh, come on.
Right? So this movie is how you really do it. And instead of a big...
What's your favorite scene?
I don't really have a favorite scene. I have a favorite whole movie. I like the sequence where he actually first comes face to face with the burnt man, and he falls down the embankment. I like that scene because the guy had the drop on him and wasn't like, I'm not here for you. And it was awesome. And it just sets up the turn where Ryan Quantin is now, it's no longer menacing to him. It's set up for you to be with Ryan's character, and this crappy menacing thing is happening, and where's his gun and all this stuff. Then he gets knocked down the embankment because some door thing, whatever, by a car. But that guy could have totally killed him, and he wasn't there for him, which gets the audience to go like, why didn't he get the drop, and why didn't he shoot him? Why didn't he take care of him? Why did he let that guy go? Because that guy is innocent, which I'm somewhat spoiling. The reason why he's there for revenge is it's a guilty party, and that's the police.
Yeah, my favorite scene is the diner. Or no, he's in the bar where he puts a quarter in the machine and plays Black Eyed Bruiser. And it builds up and builds up. And there's people in the building that he's going to take out, and they're just kind of like waiting. It's just like this tension thing, but at the same time, it's such a badass song that it sets a tone. And I'm like, yeah. Black Eyed Bruiser is probably one of the greatest songs I've never heard of. Stevie Wright, I guess he was like a big thing in Australia. He just never had a hit here. Damn shame.
Red Hill, it's good. It's just straight up solid good, and it's stylish but without being overwrought with cheese.
Right. Very lean and mean. Not a wasted moment. Everything, every little tiny little thing matters.
Yeah.
And that's it's just like I said, it's a shame that he basically took Expendables 3. Maybe it'll lead to something else. You know, at least that'll show a bigger studio that he can handle a movie that big, and he'll find something that he can put his voice into.
Yeah, I hope so, because a lot of young directors start out with this one thing that is really there. If they continue going, they could be an auteur if they continue going in that direction, but they end up being a gun for hire.
Danny Cannon.
And
Do you remember Danny Cannon? He did The Young Americans, which was really good, and then he did Judge Dredd, and that was it. He was done. He did one of those I Know What You Did Last Summer movies. I think it was, you remember that thing that you did last summer? I haven't forgotten. I think that was the name of that one.
He does TV, a lot of TV shows, which is fine if you're gonna. Yeah, that's fine. I hope Hughes goes and jumps over, skips, uses Expendables 3 as a stepping stone to do his thing.
Yeah, actually, he is doing something, isn't he? Something big, or he's at least attached to something big. He got signed recently to develop something. Hopefully it's not another gun for hire kind of thing, but you know, some directors do that and it works. Some don't. Like we were talking about Walter Hill, when he does gun for hire stuff, it's bad. When he's really focused on what he wants to do, it's awesome. Patrick Hughes. Oh, he's doing The Raid. He's doing the remake of The Raid.
Right there, that's a crapshoot. We don't know what we're gonna do.
Taylor Kitsch is attached with Frank Grillo. I like Frank Grillo a lot. Taylor Kitsch, I'm kind of...
Yeah, Frank Grillo is confirmed, and Taylor Kitsch is rumored right now. Taylor Kitsch is fine.
Yeah, I actually think John Carter...
Patrick Hughes can probably...
I think John Carter's severely underrated. Alright, everybody, that is it for Video Night. I think this is going to be the last of our long episodes. We've been getting shorter and shorter.
Well, I think we need to revisit the Western thing. So if we do more episodes like this length, maybe four movies instead of 6, we'll revisit them and pepper them throughout the years, whatever. But yeah, we're mostly going to be like doing double features or singles.
Yeah, we found ourselves at a point where we were only doing one episode a month. That's not a lot of content. We're trying to stay more regular. We're eating our fiber, at least our movie fiber. We're going to try to give you one episode every Monday. We'll, just do a mini-sode or what did I just watch, or maybe a special. Sometimes I hate to say it, but I have a short attention span. I like to try new things. So every once in a while you might see like an experimental episode. If you hate it, let us know that it sucks. If you love it, pour it on. Just drench it on.
I'm going to plug something real quick.
What's that?
New stupid episodes of What Did I Just Watch? It's a stupid show. It's a cool show. It's a silly show. It's dumb. What Did I Just Watch, for those who don't know, who are just listening to this segment, is crazy weirdo movies, and it doesn't have to be dark or gross. It can be stupid and funny, like Young Einstein is one I want to touch. But I bring in somebody, could be Michael one day, could be a local friend of mine or something. We talk about this movie that we just watched. What Did I Just Watch? Listen to that, please. It's silly fun. We have Zardoz. We have Naked Lunch so far. We've got other summer fun coming up. Have a listen.
And that's it for us here at Video Night. Check us out. We have a little page set up on Facebook. You can come and like and hang out and tell us what you think. And that's it from me.
That's it from me. Catch you later.
Be excellent to each other.
Video Night.